the API sends over data to someone else or whatever it is, right? Like can send over data to a web page or web server, and like that web server will send the API over to its own database, or like it'll ping it, or maybe the API is designed only to display itself on the web server. There's no storage. But specifically, before I get too into details, what it really looks like, the most common format of APIs are usually JSON or XML, specifically JSON. And what JSON looks like for most people that like I don't have much experience with it is we'll do a quick example. Say there's a Blast API, and you want to know what someone's like swings were across. You want to know what Lindley's swings were for the month of August. So the Blast has its own database of data, and there's like, there's unique identifiers on the swings, there's dates, there's users. So you could ping, and I don't know what the Blast API looks like. I obviously don't work for Blast or didn't construct it. I'm kind of like guesstimating here based off what a standard API looks like and what ours looks like. You could send an API call. You would get like a special key, and you could use that to send an API call again through like there's apps designed for APIs, like depending on where their API rests, maybe there's like a website where you can go and drop in details in like a drop down box. But you could send Kyle Lindley or whatever their username is on Blast, start date August 1st, end date August 31st, and then you get returned a string of blasted, all the Blast data metrics that they have: bat speed, rotational acceleration, power, all that stuff. It would look like it'd usually be I'm guessing it's going to be in a JSON array, so it would look like the actual metric. It's on a swing by swing basis, so this would be a long array. So it'd be like power in quotes colon 72 comma bat speed colon 63, all this stuff. So it'd be like a long array, and then like usually when you're getting an API call back, you build like a parser or processor or whatever it is, like some script that takes in all that stuff, arranges it into like a readable format, and then say like the whole point of using an API call is to post like Blast averages on a site like Track, right? Say Track has the API call to Blast, so you send that. So each time you build a profile on Track, you build like an API integration, you click like send. Which there's not be a send button and be like generate Blast results, right? So you click on that, and then that tells the Blast server, okay, Kyle Lindley, start date, end date, and whatever else parameters they might want, and then all that array of data gets sent back, and then gets like reran using your own script parser, and then gets posted to the site. So that's kind of like what it looks like in real time. And we've like I've talked about in past episodes, we've developed an API for Edge. So in theory, anyone can pay for Edge services, Edge analytics tools, Edge tools. They just like we would just set up an API call system for them like send in their parameters, which could be like user dates, whatever the type of technology they want back, and then we send all that stuff back, and it auto populates into whatever format they want. So API 101. That's
yeah, but why would you build one?
Test.
What do you mean?
Testing my mic. I don't know if it's loud enough though. Keep going.
I think it sounds a little bit better.
Yeah, slightly louder. Why would you build an API?
Yeah.
Just for that purpose, for being able to access that data, correct? Because we want to display, like you run the Blast example. By the way, we actually don't have a Blast API integration. We have an API integration from their cloud output. We have an API integration for a lot of technologies, a lot of the main technologies. Like we have one for Rhapsody, we have one for DK. We don't have one for Blast. So Track users have to like download the CSV from their cloud and import that. And then we've built like an integration off the CSV. But so I'm saying that's a great example. So if we had a Blast API, I mean, I'm sure they charge X amount, and Mike Rathwell and Max Engelbrecht on Track's end would determine if that's a good deal or not. But paying for a Blast API would mean our users don't have to do that, right? Because right now there's no Blast API connection through Track. Our users have to go to Blast Connect, select Team Report for all the players on their facility, download that, import it in Track, and watch it populate. That's fairly little work, but like think about how how busy or how busy someone is, or maybe how lazy someone is, or just like not tech savvy. So that already hurts us. People that want to see Blast data, they're like, oh, what? We got to go to the cloud, and I'll just use the cloud, or I'll just like, what I mean? Like if it had an API integration like Rhapsody has, All you have to do is associate the APIs initially. Click there's an associate button on track, and then there you go. Everything gets seamlessly linked from Rapsodo to track. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go to Rapsodo Cloud and download a CSV and import it in a track like you do for Blast. So that's an example of like why we would go directly from an API. And that's an example of something where someone, like the Blast loss on not having an API is not that big because they do have a cloud CSV and everything. But there's other things where it's like, how do we ever get that data? Who's gonna get edge data unless they get an API call for us? Nobody, because we don't have like a cloud system. You have to get API access from us to get that data. So hopefully
a lot of value too is then being able to like put a bunch of different steps in together to make like a final product too, because like technically ours is we're using the API not from the customer perspective or the client perspective. We're just like using that to like augment our like reporting or analysis stuff. So it's like makes everything simpler and like puts steps together that can be automated.
Yeah. So I'm saying like if someone wants to pay for edge tools, but they, it's like they want to do it for a couple athletes, they don't need like to use track. They could just contact us, set up an API, like set up some sort of system where they just get API calls straight from Edge. And then we just like, they just send the parameters. Like I mentioned before, like it could be the technology parameter, the athlete, the start end date, whatever else is needed. And then it just gets dumped back to them in whatever format usually in a JSON format, but they could build, like we could like, build a parser for them as well, stuff like that. But yeah, in general, the idea is like just basically getting data from other people or from other like, sources, essentially is really what an API boils down to.
Definitely just testing my.
Still quiet.
Oh, fuck. I just spilled a bunch. You guys hear that?
Come on, man.
I just spilled 30 Mentos gums on the ground. They're not that good anyways.
Cut this guy off.
Mentos gums kind of blow. All right, you're up, Lindley. Let's talk laid back.
Podcast is fun.